The best practice is located in 5 communities of a small country of West Africa, called Guinea-Bissau. The population of Guinea-Bissau counts with 1.5 million of inhabitants, of which over a half are women. The best practice is framed in the following context. 65% of women in Guinea cannot read and write. Although Land Law Article 2 specifies the land is the heritage of the whole population, both men and women, only 10% of the land and 5% of housing are held by women. Men are the ones who make the decisions at home and in community structures. Women spend many more hours at home care activities and more than 6 hours in home food production, while men are employed less hours in crops that generate income. Women from these areas did not have any right to land, because men of the families were the owners of the land that women worked, that borrowed the land as a loan, but without no possibility of decision. How did we make the best practice possible? Everything started with the strategy of the project in Senegal, Gambia and Guinea-Bissau, based on the alliance of 3 local NGOs and the Spanish NGO, funded by the Spanish Agency of Cooperation. The program will contribute to achieve the recognition of the food and healthy environment right, based on a perspective of equity and land use planning, focusing on women and children. All the activities executed by APRODEL from Guinea-Bissau, FODE from Senegal, ADWAC from Gambia, and Alianza por la Solidaridad from Spain included gender equality perspective related to access and control of natural resources. Several actions were made to promote food security in the area. In order to achieve this hit, 7 steps were accomplished. First, community and administrative leaders, women representatives of committees, associations of women, men and youth, received training on gender and the role of women in development. Second, women expressed concern regarding the land tenure insecurity. They asked APRODEL to support them with the administrative authorities to legalize the land for the first time. Third, 3 women from each of the 4 communities were chosen to have a meeting with the landowners and the village traditional authorities, and together assess the quality of the land for horticulture, mainly in terms of fertility and proximity to villages. Fourth, APRODEL consulted the national land laws and policies and studied statistics about inequalities and land access and control in the region. Fifth, APRODEL and the group's leaders began the process with an informal statement of the concession for each group, along with the local administrative authorities. The local authority contacted with the traditional authorities to confirm and check the land provided and proceeded with the measurement. 6. APRODEL made a report about the land, and later on, with the regional cadastral service, a plan was developed. 7th, after that, women had to pay 1 million CFA francs for administrative costs in order to legalize the document. This money was covered by the SAGE project and the local government in equal shares. From that moment, women received the document of land leasing for 90 years, with possibilities of extension. These are the lessons learned. The importance of sensitizing all the actors involved: community and administrative leaders, women representatives, men and youth associations in terms of gender and women in development. The importance of clear and legible processes for each and every person, which need to be released and presented nationally. The fact that women were involved in all the process has trained them in order to support other women to achieve the same objective, currently exchanges are being conducted between the women from the 5 communities and from the neighboring villages, so they can keep making history. What are the plans for the future and our work in the area? Thanks for this award, in the next months, new women, more than 3,000, will become owners. And this way, what is extraordinary will become something usual. Thanks to Dubai Municipality and UN Habitat for this recognition.
Thank you. The question for me and my colleague is possible in Spanish, French, and Portuguese. Sorry. Because we know I have a translation. Portuguese. Ah, okay, okay. En français. Ah, ok, 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 ok.
Je reste là. Vous restez en haut là. D'accord. Je traduis pour vous.
Il va traduire. Ah, ok.
In the presentation, you mentioned that there is this cultural issue that the land, owning the land is associated with men.
Ah.
How do you overcame this association, and when they did this, how they faced men?
Dans votre présentation, vous avez présenté que les terrains sont dominés par les hommes. Et alors, quand les femmes sont intervenues, comment ont-elles fait pour adresser ce problème? Comment ont-elles fait que la mentalité des hommes a changé pour leur permettre d'avoir des titres de terrain? Alors, encore une fois. Parce que les hommes dominaient. Comment ils ont changé d'avis?
Voilà, merci. Ça veut dire qu'il y a tout un travail de sensibilisation, mais aussi il y a un travail de formation. Et quand on parle d'aspect genre, on cherche toujours à impliquer les hommes.
There was a big awareness changing effort, and also to understand how men function, how they think.
L'implication des hommes dans le processus genre et dans le processus de changement de comportement, là où les hommes ont le pouvoir, vraiment c'est très important et c'est très stratégique aussi.
Oui. So what were the mechanisms by which men held the power? So when women understood that, then they could address these points. Mais je pense qu'il faudrait dire comment les hommes avaient ce pouvoir. Qu'est-ce qu'ils faisaient pour garder le pouvoir sur le terrain?
Oui, ça c'est des aspects traditionnels, par exemple, presque tout en Afrique. Si tu vois l'histoire, la culture, la tradition, le pouvoir est toujours avec les hommes. Et pour ce changement de comportement, il faut toujours impliquer les hommes. Aujourd'hui, par exemple, on parle d'un potentiel de 55% des femmes dans un environnement de 100%, tu trouves 45% hommes. Mais l'aspect traditionnel, culturel, vraiment, montre que toujours le pouvoir, c'est avec les hommes.
I'm not sure that he's answering your question, but he's saying that in order to get the men to change and open to women owning land, women worked with men hand in hand from the beginning, expressing they want to have land, and how can the men help them?
Et la prédominance de ces pouvoirs, c'est encore plus fort au niveau rural, là où nous intervenons. Nous, on n'intervient pas dans les centres urbains, mais on intervient plus au niveau rural qu'au niveau... Et là, la tradition, la culture, c'est plus fort.
And he's insisting on the fact that it's really difficult because in the rural environment, men are much, much more traditional than in the urban environment. So it was more difficult to change their mind. Mais vous pourriez répondre à sa question qui est comment les femmes ont fait pour que les hommes changent d'avis?
Oui, tout un travail de sensibilisation, tout un travail d'accompagnement, vraiment tout un travail de formation. Comme je disais, quand nous on a commencé vraiment avec l'approche genre, on n'a pas exclu les hommes. On a fait que les hommes rentrent dans le processus. On a fait que les hommes connaissent aussi la potentialité que les femmes auprès du ménage a. Et des fois, ils oublient ça. Ils pensent vraiment que ces potentialités n'existent pas. Mais ces potentialités sont tous près de lui au niveau du ménage. Donner à manger aux enfants, donner la santé, donner vraiment la scolarisation, l'éducation au niveau de la famille. Vraiment, c'est toute une potentialité des femmes auprès des ménages. On commence pour ça, vraiment, et les hommes, des fois, on pense que c'est une question de résistance. Mais non, c'est juste une question de prise de conscience et de changement de comportement.
Very interesting. It's like the women's movement in the beginning in Europe. He says women spent a lot of time explaining to men how much time women spend in childcare, agriculture, preparing the food, etc., and put the numbers in front of the men. And they were astonished to discover this. They were very surprised. And as they were surprised, that helped them open their mind to the possibility that women actually could have more responsibility towards the land. Very interesting.
Et nous, en tant qu'organisation d'appui au développement, ce qu'on fait des fois, c'est faciliter ces débats au niveau du ménage, au niveau de la communauté. Cela veut dire que vraiment, c'est une, comment on peut dire, accordar la conscience. Et c'est juste vraiment chercher la prise de conscience de la potentialité des femmes au niveau du ménage, au niveau réveiller la conscience des hommes pour montrer vraiment la potentialité existante tout près de lui. C'est juste une question de profiter de cette potentialité. Mais qu'après, tu trouves qu'il n'y a pas de résistance et que vraiment c'est une plus-value au niveau de ménage, au niveau des communautés rurales.
So he's saying that their NGO has a facilitation role between husband and wife and in the village so that the men are starting to understand the potential monetary value of women that they bring to the household. And so the NGO continued to facilitate as long as the minds of the men and women were still not together on the same line. And then finally, the men were at the same level and everybody understood. And that's when they brought in the issue of, okay, now, let's have some land titles.
Aussi, c'est pour dire que ce n'est pas un processus automatique, hein, de dire que vraiment, là, tout se passe bien et d'un jour à l'autre, tout peut changer. C'est un processus. C'est un processus qui prend du temps. C'est un processus aussi que nous, on cherche vraiment les hommes qui ont changé pour changer le comportement aussi des hommes. Et cette approche, on l'appelle la masculinité. Vraiment, cherchons à impliquer les hommes qui ont changé pour changer le comportement des autres hommes auprès des villages.
So he's saying that the process is very long, takes a long time, because we're talking about the change in mindset, and that what their NGO is doing is trying to valorize and put forward the men whose mind has changed, and to put them as a model of masculinity. So they become the more masculine, because they are open and they are ready for change.
C'est une question de voir et croire. Dès qu'un homme change, c'est possible de changer ça au niveau de village.
And of course, their goal is to put these men forward so other men will follow. And he said, it's almost a miracle. You have to see it to believe it, because it's working. And men, of course, look to each other to see, oh, he did that, maybe I can do it now.
Because it's possible.
Because it's possible.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
First, I'd like to thank our translator, and I'd like to say this is really what we need. We need the whole world to cooperate like we just did in translation to make really a better word. Thank you very much. And before we move to the next presentation, I'd like just to draw your attention for some timings, important timings. Today at 7 p.m., the bus will be waiting for you all to go to dinner. And by tomorrow morning at 8 a.m., please be down in the lobby because they will take you to the other venue for tomorrow's awarding ceremony. So you have all to be down there by 8. And we have also at 4 p.m., the bus will be waiting for you for the city tour. So we hope you enjoy your 2 days. And now we will move to the second presentation from Kenya. Mr. Joseph will be speaking about Kibera Productive Public Space Project.
Good afternoon, everybody. Firstly, a very big thank you to the Dubai municipality and to UN Habitat for having us here. My name is Joe Mulligan, and this is my colleague Julius Moiru. And this afternoon, we wanted to tell you a little bit about our work on the Kibera Public Space Project. Let me firstly introduce you to KDI, Kunkui Design Initiative. KDI is a design and community development organization that partners with residents and groups living in extreme poverty to physically transform degraded environments, grow economic resilience, and build social cohesion. We're made up of planners, architects, landscape architects, engineers like myself, construction managers like Moiru, and lots of community development people. We are currently working on multiple projects in 4 countries with offices in Los Angeles in the US, Wa in Ghana, Nairobi, Kenya, and in Stockholm in Sweden. And today we're going to be talking about our work in Africa, south of the Sahara, particularly in urban informal settlements. And as Anna pointed out earlier, there's a pattern of urban expansion in the region which suggests a tripling of the urban population over the next 30 to 40 years. And of that new population, 3 out of 4 new urban dwellers will live in slums. So it's a big challenge. Today we wanted to talk about our work in the informal settlement of Kibera, Nairobi, and how our small work has been trying to address some of these challenges at a very micro scale. KDI started in Kibera in 2006, and Moiru has led the construction process on all of our projects there, so he's the better placed person to tell you more about the place and our work.
Thanks again to Dubai Municipality. I would like to tell you more about Kibera, the good and the bad, since I live there. Kibera is the 2nd largest slum in Africa, situated in Kenya, in the outskirts of Nairobi, some say sub-Sahara Africa. Up to 800 to 1 million people, depending on whose numbers you use, living in a very small space of 225 hectares. It's seriously dense. No open space. It's only 5 kilometers from Nairobi Central Business District, that's the CBD, an industrial area. And workers from Kibera really support Nairobi's economy. Within Kibera, there is also a very strong informal economy. Politically, Kibera represents a significant constituency. And and because of that, security can be a major issue. There is a high level of vulnerability to fire and flooding, but an ability of people to bounce back from these disasters. And thus reflect in some of the very strong community networks that exist. Access by foot or vehicle is difficult, but government has recently been building new roads projects there. Access to decent sanitation is very limited, with most human waste going direct to the watercourse. More than 200 tons of rubbish goes into the streams and rivers every day, has causing a lot of diseases like cholera. So KDI started by looking at how public space could be used to address some of these challenges, while also building on some of the positive elements of Kibera, like the community spirit. And the idea was always to create a network of projects that would act together to improve the water course of Kibera. The only free space is on the river riparians. I've worked on all of our projects and I'm going to quickly run you through them. I've done project 1 up to 7, and currently we are working on our project 8. Before, where we did our project 1, it was a dumpy area, as you can see, which started way back 2007. Then after that, we reclaimed the land, and we did a very beautiful multi-structural building, which has a vocational school. There is a church there, and there is a composting business. There is a site office, since these people normally do the weaving, and there is also a public space. Then we started doing our project 2 way back 2009, and the area, as you can see, it was having some garbage, and there was a pit latrine, and the river was full of garbage. We came down there, we reclaimed the land, we did a playground for the children to enjoy the public space. We did a beautiful sanitation block done on ISSB blocks, where we trained the community to do them, and then they did the building. We connected our project to water, which we accessed this from Nairobi Water. Then we did some kiosk, and also making sure the area is beautiful. We then went ahead and did our project 3, which started on 2011. The area was very dumpy. We went there, we did a multi-structural building, which has a preschool and a craft business. Then we did a kiosk where some of these people are doing tailoring work. Then along when we were doing the project, we discovered there is a spring. We did a laundry pad where the community normally use the laundry pad free of charge. We then went ahead and did our project 4 on 2012. The area was very prone to garbage. We did our math correctly. We did the waterways by reclaiming the land by doing the gabions. Then we did a multi-purpose structure which has a cyber cafe. Then there is a daycare, and then there is a sanitation block, depending on how the community requested us to do. Then we went ahead and we did our project 5, which started way back 2013. The area was very mushy. There were some pit latrines, and nobody could use the area. We reclaimed the land. We did a multi-purpose structure, which has a kitchen in it, and there is a laundry pad. Since when we were doing the multi-structure, we realized that there is a spring in the rocks, so we had like to collect the water and do a laundry pad for the community to use in their washing. Then we did a sanitation block, which has a septic tank since there is no sewer line along that area. We went ahead and we did our project 6, which is situated where our project 1 is, and we did it in 2013. We designed based on the community ideas. We did it with it is a composting toilet block. Since the area, it was very marshy. It was a dumpy area, as you've seen in our first project. We did a composting toilet. We used the locally available materials like ISSB blocks with some bamboos, and we completed the project on 2014. Right now, or currently, we are working on our project 7. We started last year, July 2014. The area was it was a critical point where the flooding, there is a lot of flooding. So we started by reclaiming the land by doing the gabion on one section, and the other point we are doing the gabion mat, so as we can create more room for the river to flow. Now we are working on our project 8, which will start very soon this year. Thank you for listening me.
Thanks, Moiru. So I wanted to talk very quickly about the principles and the process of developing these projects. And basically, where we stand now is that we start to see this network of sites that we'd originally envisaged beginning to work up the waterways of Kibera. And if we've had any small success, it's been in trying to pull together these 3 different things: participation, integrating different sectors, and also trying to link our small-scale efforts to larger initiatives. So, starting with participation, this really underpins everything we do. And it's not really a luxury, but a prerequisite in a place like Kibera. And I'll quickly tell you what a typical process looks like. First, we issue an open and transparent request for proposals that's advertised across Kibera. We then receive proposals from different community groups and select a partner based on their capacity, strength of vision, their inclusivity, and the potential of the site and the tenure of the site as well. And another prerequisite of partnering is an agreement with the community that they make a percentage contribution to the construction cost of the project. We work with the local chieftaincy, which is local government representation from the beginning. And we work towards having a permission and site boundary that's formalized through a memorandum of understanding. And just getting to this agreement on a very small space, which is maybe the size of this stage, that could take a year to get to that agreement. So it's quite a process. Then the fun bit. Over the course of several months, we have a series of community facilitators who are all from Kibera, who take the community through a series of iterative workshops. So we go from ideas of what people like or what they don't like about the area to ideas on actual physical projects and social programs that could take us from where we are now to where people want to be. We vote on those strategies, and then we come up with priority programs which are identified and agreed by everybody. And the output of this phase is to create a master plan of infrastructure, program, and ownership that forms the basis for the management of the site. At the same time, KDI helps members identify any skills lacking among them and then tailors a training curriculum to fill those gaps. For example, accounting, conflict resolution, internet training. Now, once we have a consensus on the project and the program, the process moves into detailed design of infrastructure, buildings. We have mobilization, we clean up the site, and this is where Moiru really gets involved. And then as construction begins, we take the majority of labor from residents and people living around the site. And when the project's completed, we formally inaugurate the site and hand it over to the management committee and the wider community. And sometimes it turns out a little bit like the drawings. We then monitor the community partner for a minimum of 1 year and exit when appropriate. Second principle is integration. So this is basically layering these physical improvements, social empowerment, and economic opportunities. And our first project, Site 1, is a good example. Like Maurice said, it started off as a dumping ground, but the first step was to use physical infrastructure to remediate, reclaim the watercourse, remove the trash, and create buildable space. We created access, which linked two villages that were previously not connected, created flexible and adaptable structures that the community could use for different functions, and then created income-generating activities that the group had prioritized, including gardening, water kiosk, and weaving co-op. Other elements like the park and the playground provide safe spaces to play and gather, which are in very short supply in Kibera. So, though each site has very different components depending on the priorities of the groups, there's a very common thread, which is physical remediation enabling social and economic programs. The last piece is networking, and there's lots of examples at the scale of the settlement. For example, we remediate pollution hotspots by connecting to city sewers in areas which were previously latrines going directly to the watercourses, which improves water quality downstream. Skills transfer between sites, Moru mentioned this. The BRIC team from Site 2 has gone on to train teams at Site 3, 5, and 6. And the Women's Cooperative from Site 1 has joined together with 2 and 3 to form a joint cooperative that sells online via Etsy.com. And then there's an internal transfer of experience and training from the earlier groups to the later groups on what it takes to operate and maintain the sites. And one great outcome that we've seen is that the groups who've been able to deliver and run projects have also been able to better advocate on their own behalf for improved services and representation to the government, to utility providers. And we've really been working to support that gap, reducing the gap between the informal and the formal city. And also helping the institutional players in the delivery of their mandates within Kibera, and that's really our aspiration, is to do like what you guys have done at Watanaya, which is really influence practice at that kind of institutional level. So I'll finish up on the work that we're hoping to do, and which the support from this award is helping us to do. We really have 3 key initiatives. One is continuing on with the sites, building the network. Number 2 is a technology project called WhatsApp Portal Kibera. This is a project we've been leading in partnership with Nairobi Water, which is the water utility, and with the support of a coalition of water and sanitation NGOs in Kibera. And basically this project, which is at a pilot stage, facilitates connecting to municipal water and sewerage. It makes information on cost, physical viability, easily available for NGOs and CBOs who are trying to build projects. Finally, we're working on the issue of urban flooding, which is a serious issue in Kibera. And one of the big issues is that the government takes a blanket approach to how you deal with the riparian zone. There's a 10-meter zone within which all structures are deemed illegal, which takes in about 30,000 people in Kibera. So really the idea of this project is to demonstrate that there's a mixture of structural responses, infrastructure responses, but also non-structural social resilience responses to building local communities' resilience to flooding. And we're working on modeling the flooding, consulting with people on vulnerability, and working together with Ministry of Environment on actually designing some of these interventions. And the relevance of this extends beyond Kibera to many slums in Nairobi, but also to many other rapidly urbanizing cities. This is a map of Nairobi County. You can see the major river systems, and you can also see the location of the major informal settlements in the county. So we hope we've given you a small introduction to the projects, and that we've demonstrated how we're trying to work on multiple levels, but always keeping it grounded in these small community projects. We'd love for you guys to come and visit our projects, and we've really enjoyed hearing about yours. Thanks again to the municipality for the award, and we assure you it will be put to good use. Thank you very much. Any questions? Yeah, it's a long and involved process, and it starts with this request for proposals process. So we basically put up an advertisement throughout Kibera on lampposts, on buildings, and say, if your organization has a socially beneficial project that you're trying to do, and you have a site that you have secure tenure over, then we'd be happy to receive a proposal from you and discuss how we can deliver the project together. So that's the entry point. And that's become a lot easier as we've delivered more projects, and other groups have seen that, that it's a real process. But there's a lot of work to do once you receive these proposals in terms of understanding a group's capacity, whether the site is really secure, getting all the land agreements, and really that could take 6 months to a year. Then design is very, very engaged. We basically spend every weekend for about 6 months hashing out all the details with the groups and doing various different exercises to figure out how people want things, what their priorities are, what can be afforded. And that could be another 6 months. And actually, once you get on site, it can be pretty quick. Maybe the project can be built in 6 months or a year. So, maybe 2 years to get the project built, and then another 12 months of monitoring and supporting. So maybe 3 years on average per project, yeah.
Yeah, and also maybe to add on that, we normally say that the community are the designers. Us is like putting the whole thing to the papers. So the community come up with the ideas, then we have to keep on going to the community every week so as they can understand. And before developing the final details, we have to bring the community back on board so as they can approve the 3Ds. Since some of this community doesn't even understand, maybe if you have the final drawings. So you have to bring the 3D, to some extent the model. Then after that, once they understand how the project will look like, then we have to come to the groundbreaking process.
Any other questions? Thank you. Thanks very much.
And now we go to Spain, where the practice is a model for the city centered on people, with Mr. Miguel Angso. No? Mr.? No problem.
Good evening, good afternoon. I'm not Miguel Anxo Fernandez Lores. He's down here. He's the mayor of Pontevedra, but he doesn't speak English, so I will speak in his place. I am Daniel Macengi. I am the chief of local police of Pontevedra's council town. As time runs away, let's start. This has been a 14-year practical experience in which the main objective was the achievement of a high urban quality for the city in all its aspects. We are here And this is our population in the city center, metropolitan area, and province. Pontevedra is a small, flat, fluvial, and compact city which allows us to promote walking and cycling as the principal sustainable means of transport. But what was Pontevedra like before 1999? Pontevedra was a city where the population were ousted by cars from public spaces, where people with mobility problems could not move freely, as there were plenty of physical and architectural barriers. Approximately 70% of urban sewage found their way directly to the riverbeds, with no previous waste treatment, with baleful consequences for the natural environment. Noise and air pollution were also excessively high. Our priorities and objectives. The main focus was to prevent the urban dynamics of the city of Pontevedra to be irreversibly degraded. It was necessary to empower citizens by giving them back their public spaces so that they could enjoy them and make use of them without exception. What for? To give a new life to the streets, to foster autonomy and eliminate traffic risks, to reduce air, noise, and water pollution, to recover degraded areas, as well as to promote healthy and non-polluting urban methods of transport, keeping in mind the importance of the connection between the river, the city, and the estuary. This has been and still are the true priorities of the present project. The measures to be taken were compiled and set in the government program of local council. After listening the proposals and initiatives of local residents' associations and environmental, disability, cultural, women and professional groups. Our resources. Other cities went down the path of large-scale building works and events to plan for their future. This needs plenty of effort and considerable resources. Pontevedra focused on one overarching project by means of which the existing local resources, as well as those coming from other administrations, were channeled into making urban quality better. The collaboration of all departments of the municipality is paramount in order to achieve our aims. A compromise was reached with social agents affected to achieve a gradual pedestrianization. As for the recuperation of degraded urban areas, a program of grants was agreed with property owners in the historic center, which in turn led to the improvement of public spaces and encouraged privately funded initiatives. The process of implementation and execution of a model for a city-centered on people went hand in hand with a wide-ranging social debate during its stages. Each step forward made local residents more and more aware of the future of their city, and so they were given voice through their active participation in the decision-making process. New spaces were recovered and quickly put to good use by the people, who could finally enjoy them. To celebrate the recovery of the city for the people, a diversity of public events were organized. Resistance to the changes being made as the project started to take shape and had two sources: the immobilism and the fear to the unknown. It tends to be true that people who show an initial rejection to a new idea ends up defending it shortly after. Moreover, an uncompromising defense of the use and abuse of the car seems to defend a naive ideal of modernity. Evidence clearly suggests that a dysfunctional city is far from beneficial for the drivers themselves. The Feira Franca is a medieval festival, is the epitome of self-managed public participation. Cultural and local residents' associations have managed to reach the 14th edition of this celebration of public spaces with a historical tint. The latest edition attracted up at 100,000 people to the city, more than the population of the city. Physical results of these policies. More than 40 kilometers of footpaths and cycle paths have been made along the rivers and the estuary. We've got the elimination of sewage and the river pollution. The suppression of physical and architectural barriers in all urban spaces was a reality. We have achieved calm and safe traffic in the whole city. The elimination of incoming road traffic in large part of the city was a reality in a few years. Speed limit of 30 kilometers per hour was introduced in the entire city, as well as a limit of 20 kilometers per hour in common areas, squares, and traffic-free streets for multi-purpose uses. Quality of life. Children can be autonomous and walk alone and play in the streets and the square. People in wheelchairs have no mobility barriers. The streets and squares are now lively and full of people who can enjoy themselves in public spaces, excluding no one. Continuous contact with the river and the estuary have been made. Noise and emission of pollutant gases have been reduced to the bare minimum. The city has been humanized. It's made for the people. Healthy living and exercise are promoted. Social results. Sense of belonging, collective self-esteem, satisfaction of living in a city thought for the people, increased commitment and collaboration among the local residents with their surroundings. Here has been a palpable improvement in civility and respect for the local rules, norms, and regulations. There is an observable improvement in cleanliness in public spaces, and the deterioration of urban furniture has been dramatically slowed down. As to safety, road safety, there has been 0 traffic fatalities and 0 severe injuries for 14 years after the adaptation of large city areas to the new concept of mobility. Stop Accidentes, a Spanish association for the prevention of road accidents, states that the city of Pontevedra is an example of what should be done in this field. Most of children go to school on foot, and a considerable number of them do so alone. Meniños, a national foundation for the well-being of families, has declared Pontevedra as a child-friendly town. The money. No extra burden on taxpayer was necessary for these plans to become a reality. If each and every building work plan eliminated mobility barriers, created public spaces for all, reduced dangers and inconvenience of heavy traffic, and improved water and sanitation networks, city life would certainly improve. All people, regardless their physical condition, age or gender, should be allowed to use and enjoy their city by facilitating sociability, non-segregation, and social inclusion. The city has become a focal point of social life and economic activity. The historic center has been recovered, and the same goes for the building of heritage value, which have been put into new and modern use. The city is, with its renovated spaces, a place for cultural and recreational activity. Sources of sewage and water pollution have been virtually eradicated. Both air and noise pollution have been dramatically diminished. The predominance of pedestrian mobility and cycling has led to a remarkable reduction of carbon dioxide emissions. A large number of policies, despite being enforced, tend not to be observed in other places. For instance, the law on accessibility forbids the presence of physical obstacles in public spaces and establishes the obligation of cleaning the riverbeds, but it's not always done. Some policies are mere ideas, proposals, and desiderata that have not been included in the appropriate legal texts. Nevertheless, the city of Pontevedra have put them into practice, even though there was no legal obligation to do so. For instance, the speed limit to 30 kilometers. Cities, at times chaotic, unpleasant, polluting, always complex, can undergo process of transformation and become welcoming, environmentally friendly, sustainable, comfortable, safe, and inclusive. This can be done in a relatively short time, as long as there is the will, the collaboration, and a clear set of well-defined priorities. Each city has to decide on an appropriate model for itself. The model is a means to achieve a particular end. All theoretical proposal and experience should be taken into account to produce a model. Traffic calming, autonomous living, the city as a center for the socialization, urban planning, safety, mobility and accessibility, local trade, etc. The existing situation, the urban dynamics, the local idiosyncrasies, and the collective aspirations must define the project on the basis of the social agent's contribution. It is the strong one who enjoys certain privileges, finds it hard to share and reach a compromise. Drivers versus pedestrians, physically able versus disabled, etc. Public spaces means plurality, integration and equity. These questions are real challenges for the model of a city for the people. It is the resistance we must overcome. Thank you very much. If you have any question, the Mayor of Pontevedra will be pleasure to answer, and I will translate if I am able to do it.
Congratulations on all of the achievements. It's very, very impressive. My question was, and I don't want to get actually too political maybe, but the question is, does the relative regionalization of power in Spain, has that enabled or facilitated the process of what you've been able to achieve here? And in the other direction, do you think it can help in or hinder in spreading the lessons to other areas in Spain and beyond in Europe or anywhere?
Bueno, voy a contestar en español, luego me traduce. A ver, fuimos aprendiendo de todo lo que conocíamos a nivel de procesos urbanos, de tratamiento de espacios urbanos en todo el mundo, y lo fuimos adaptando a Pontevedra, porque todos los procesos tienen que tener una interrelación con la ciudad de que estemos hablando, ¿no? Pero hay una cuestión que sí quiero dejar muy clara, y es que tiene que haber, vamos, que yo soy de los que pienso que la política sirve para algo, y que se puede hacer política para los ciudadanos, honrada obviamente, y que se pueden transformar las cosas. Y que cuando se tiene una idea y se tiene un proyecto y se cuenta con la participación de la gente, se consigue cambiar las cosas, modificar las cosas y mejorar la calidad de vida de los ciudadanos. Eso es lo más importante de todo.
Really is very difficult to translate him because he speaks a long time. Summarizing, he says he have taken into account all the knowledge spread about the city models as to the road traffic, road safety, the city of the children's, all theoretical proposals, they have joined them and they have applied them into the city in order to make the model so. And in the second place, he defends the politic with capital letters. The honest politic, the efficient politic was as the main motor, the main instrument in order to transform the societies, in order to the main tool to get a more equality society.
First of all, I'd like to say this is an amazing success. And it sounds like utopia, like an ideal civilization that does not really exist. And I understand, my question is this. I understand that people were participating, that there was a lot of participatory process. However, our experience, really, you have to have a leader. So it sounds like the mayor, Mr. Mayor here, provided that leadership, because we can get drowned and delayed in participatory processes if there's nobody at the helm holding the vision. So I guess my question is that what he did, or was there another leader? Was there somebody holding a leadership position?
Could you repeat, please?
Yeah, okay. So when there's a whole societal change like this, even though everybody's participating, usually it doesn't work if you don't have a chief, a leader. So somebody holding the image, the vision.
Who led this process.
Yes, throughout all these years.
Hay un concepto, un proyecto global de ciudad, o sea, de cambiar una ciudad que estaba pensada, que la gran parte de las ciudades están pensadas única y exclusivamente para el vehículo privado, para el coche privado.
There is a global project. Most of cities are thought for private cars as to public spaces and streets.
Todas las decisiones de ocupación del espacio público están pensadas única y exclusivamente para favorecer la movilidad motorizada, ¿vale?
The decisions as to the public spaces are thought for facilitating motor traffic.
Entonces, esto es un proyecto de una ciudad compacta, de una ciudad donde la mayor parte de los desplazamientos se pueden hacer andando, y es un proyecto integral de cambiar el orden de prioridades. Primero, las personas andando. Segundo, la bicicleta. Tercero, el transporte público. Y cuarto y último lugar, el vehículo privado. O sea, todo está en un proyecto integral para favorecer la integración social y la incorporación, la ocupación del espacio público por los ciudadanos.
This is a holistic project where we have reversed the priorities. First goes the pedestrians, then the bicycles, after them the public transport, and then the private car.
Sí. Finalmente, es una decisión política.
It's a political decision.
Decisión política, proyecto,
There is a project.
Colaboración de todos los técnicos, funcionarios municipales y de la sociedad con participación. ¿Cómo se articula? Pues no, él me pregunta si hay un proyecto. Pues el líder es la municipalidad. Claro.
Municipality.
Claro, eso hay que... sí,
Claro,
claro. Claro. Es una decisión política de la municipalidad, porque este proyecto no es igual en todos los ayuntamientos de todo Galicia o de España o de Europa. Es una decisión política de la municipalidad.
it's a unique, political decision in this specific council. After this decision, they have coordinate all departments of the administration, and after that they spread these policies through the associations, women associations, disabled associations, all over the city.
Did it boost the local economy? Boost. Did it make the local economy better?
Yes, yes. Aumentó un 30% la población urbana.
Urban population increase.
O sea, a ver, es
30%.
Sí, es la única ciudad de Galicia que crece ahora en este momento, que aumenta de población, que tiene un crecimiento vegetativo, eso no sé cómo puedo explicar, positivo, es decir, que es la más joven de Galicia, la más joven de
It's the only city in Galicia who the population whose population is growing up.
Que hay menos
We
muertos que
have,
nacidos.
on contrary, that is happening in other places that the population decreased. We have increased this population, and this population is relatively young, most of them.
Ven. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Honorable Mayor. And now we'll call Ghana and the initiative of Ghana Bamboo Bikes Initiative with Ms. Benis Dapa.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. First and foremost, we thank the Dubai Municipal and the UN Habitat for giving us this platform to showcase our project, Ghana Bamboo Bikes. With me here is my colleague or co-founder, Unifer Sebi, who will be doing the presentation, and I'll help her with some of the questions. Thank you.
Greetings from the land full of gold and natural resources, Ghana. Ghana is a country that can be found in West Africa. My name is Winifred Selby. I serve as the Director of Project and the co-founder of the Ghana Bamboo Bikes Initiative. Currently, bicycles that are imported in Ghana are very expensive for rural folk who live under $1 a day. Some of these bicycles are used bicycles and they can be prone to mechanical failure since there might not be available spare parts all the time. And these bicycles are always not suitable for high terrain and they may be prone to mechanical failures. As one Ghanaian prominent man said, in the chest of a woman does not last only the expansion of breast, but of braveness and courage, as well as the passion to make impact. Those were the problem and the challenges that people were facing in Ghana. As my colleague Benes said, that was when both of us came together to put up an initiative called the Ghana Bamboo Bikes Initiative. When we talk about Bamboo Bike Initiative, it is an initiative that takes advantage of the raw abundant material, that is bamboo, to develop, to create bicycles out of bamboo. This initiative trained women with primary or low education of how to use bamboo to manufacture bicycles. This is a picture of these women that are of low education. We train these women, we take them to the production room. This is our factory, and the machine they are standing by is called a jig. We use this machine to set up the bamboo frames at the production room. So they are the production room setting up bamboo frames. This is also another jig that we use to set up bamboo frames as well. They are setting up the bamboo frames with our engineer at the production room. When we talk about bamboo bicycles, we have different types of bamboo bicycle. This picture you see here is a female bamboo bike that has a basket in front of it. The difference between the female bamboo bike and the male bamboo bike is that for the female bamboo bike, the top tube slopes down. This is done this way so that it will be very easy for women to sit on it in terms of crossing our leg. It is very easy for women, even those that are wearing long robes. Our project addresses multiple problems at the same time. We add value to native bamboo to address transport needs in rural dwelling communities. We also produce affordable bamboo bike for international export market. We've also been able to develop bamboo smart cargo bike integrated with a phone charger and a tubeless tie. We train women with primary or low education of how to use bamboo waste to manufacture bamboo charcoal briquettes. This is a picture of a male bamboo bike with a rack. As I said earlier on, that the difference between the female bamboo bike and the male bamboo bike, for the male, the top tube is up, and for the female bamboo bike, the top tube slopes down. This is also a picture of our cargo bamboo bike, purposely designed for farmers to help them in terms of transporting their farm produce from farm to the marketplaces. Bamboo Bike Initiative has made a lot of impact. We've been able to create direct employment opportunity. Secondly, the end users of these bicycles, especially those within the agricultural sector, have been able to produce more. We've also increased cultivation in Ghana, rehabilitation, dwelling forest. In short term, we are looking into training more bamboo bike builders to increase our capacity to enable us meet the high demand on our product. And in long term, we would like to scale up to be able to produce at least 30,000 bikes a year with a production force of 100 people. Bamboo Bike Initiative great work did not go unrecognized. We have won 11 international awards. These are as follows. The UN Habitat Dubai International Best Award practiced in the year 2014 under the transfer category, which we'll be receiving tomorrow. The UNFCCC Momentum for Change Light-Out Activity, AFD 100 Innovation Award 2013, World Business and Development Award 2012, and Gaze Impact Business Award winner 2011. This is a picture of the UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon on bamboo bike. This picture justifies the confidence reposed in our bike as the world chief diplomatic wouldn't risk his life on riding on a bicycle, which doesn't guarantee his safety. So this is the great impact young women have made in Ghana. Use of funds from the Dubai Award. We will scale up of our bamboo charcoal production by building new kilns for bamboo charcoal production. We will train women with little or no education to use bamboo waste to manufacture bamboo charcoal briquette to reduce their dependency on fuel wood. Thank you.
Any questions?
Yes, please. Thank you.
First, I would like to say congratulations for this wonderful project. And I would like to know how much is the cost for one bicycle?
Okay, thank you so much for your question. we have different prices. We have $250 US and $250 US.
Thank you and congratulations. It's really amazing project. Now we come for the last presentation with us today. It's from Nicaragua, Solar Cookers with Miss Maria Mercedes.
Good afternoon. My name is Maria Mercedes, and my colleague Karen Crespo, she's our president and our board director. First, I would like to say thank you very much for Dubai municipality and all the team who were working very hard for this magnificent event. I would like to share about our organization is big name, FUPROSO MUNIC, Solar Project of Foundation for Nicaragua Women. We will talk in two scenarios. One will be to talk in another, at the first, we will show a little short video because we would like you have an idea how we work with the FUPROSO MUNIC. First, we need to talk a little bit about Nicaragua. Nicaragua is in Central America. It's a small country. We have close to 6 million people. Nicaragua is the second poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. We began this project with women because in countries like Nicaragua, more women are single mothers, and we have many problems with the forestry. We work with a solar cooker or solar oven because most women, they are cooking with firewood, and they have to go very far away to pick the firewood in the forestry. And also, if they need to buy the firewood, they need to spend a lot of money in this. This is the reason because we began with women, and then but we don't focus only on solar ovens. We work also with a solar dryer because we need to generate some income, and then we build a solar dryer for fruit and tea. This is where we find or we make some money to be sustainable with this organization. And we work in 24 communities and 4 departments in Nicaragua. All these communities, we work with women leaders. And this is our solar oven. Also, because the solar oven only works when we have sun, and then we supply another kind of alternative. When we don't have sun, we work with solar conserving stuffs. It's very difficult at the beginning because we said we are very hard-headed to change for the new technology. We have to first to show how can I use this, why it's very important to cook with the sun, and we try to educate. This is the first step.
How much does it cost? Is it from the materials around them, or you need to bring it from another place?
All this material we find local. It's expensive for our country because Nicaragua, some people they live with close to $2 per day, and then this material is expensive. It's like the cost is $200, and they also to make. But every woman has to build their own solar oven.
Maria. Thank you so much. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we come to the end of our first day. And I believe that Ms. Maria's presentation came just on time because after this video, we all feel hungry. So I congratulate you all for your achievements. We look forward to see you tomorrow at the awarding ceremony, where all your efforts will be recompensed on stage. Best wishes for you, and thank you all. And now you may proceed to the lunch. Thank you so much. Before you leave again, I have one room card. It's 7033. Who lost this? Room key? 7033. No one? And also we have this gentleman's recorder, if anyone saw a small black recorder, maybe by mistake. No? I'll just handle this to the reception, and if anyone lost his card, he can go to the reception. Thank you.